They say power isn't inherited, it's built. Brick by brick. Tear by tear. So when my father tried to have me thrown out of the country club he worshipped like a church, I didn't argue. I just smiled, because the papers in my briefcase said something he didn't know yet. He was standing on property I owned. For most of my life, the Westwood Country Club was my family's second home, and my personal hell. 18 holes of manicured grass, crystal chandeliers, and laughter that never reached my side of the table. It wasn't just a place, it was a symbol of who belonged, and who didn't. And I was always the one who didn't. My sister, Victoria, fit perfectly into their polished world. Ivy League degree, husband in corporate law, the kind of woman who could turn charity work into performance art. She spoke fluent designer fashion and vintage wine. And then there was me, Elena Ward, the dropout, the phase, the daughter they spoke about in past tense. While they played golf and made million-dollar deals, I was pulling double shifts at cafes, learning the real world one customer at a time. They called it failure. I called it education. The day it all came to a head, I showed up for family brunch. Jeans. A navy blazer. Comfortable flats. Normal. Respectful. Human. But to them? An act of war. Dad saw me first, the expression on his face curdled like spoiled milk. Absolutely not, he barked. Heads turned. Folks froze mid-air. You're not sitting with us dressed like that. Mom's voice followed, clipped, icy. Elena, what are you wearing? I tried to laugh it off. Clothes? Last I checked, brunch didn't require armor. She didn't smile. This is Westwood. Not a strip mall. Then came Victoria, immaculate, glowing, and already embarrassed by my existence. Oh my God, she whispered. Are you serious right now? I drove an hour to get here, I said quietly. Then drive back. Maybe next time, try to look like you belong. Her words were meant to sting. They did. Dad stood, tall and furious, decades of arrogance behind him. This is humiliating, he announced for the terrace to hear. My daughter walks in here dressed like. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. Mom covered her face. You're making a scene. Just leave, Elena. I was invited, I said. And now you and invited, Dad shot back. Before you embarrass this family any further. Every whisper on that terrace felt like a blade. Every sideways glance was a reminder. In their world, image meant everything. And I was a crack in their reflection. So when Dad stormed inside demanding management remove me, I followed. Something inside me had snapped, not in anger, but in clarity. They needed to see who I'd become. And they were about to. He was already at the front desk, voice booming. My daughter is dressed inappropriately. I want her removed from the property immediately. The poor concierge looked terrified. Mom, Victoria, they stood behind him, arms crossed, their judgment like a uniform. Within minutes, the general manager arrived. Then the director of operations. Dad straightened, proud of the attention. Thank you for taking this seriously. The owner should sign off personally. The manager nodded. She's here, actually. Then she turned and looked at me. Elena, would you like to address this? The silence that followed felt like thunder. Dad frowned. What are you talking about? The director stepped forward, her voice calm but commanding. Mr. Ward, allow me to reintroduce your daughter, as the owner of the Westwood Country Club. Time froze. Mom's hand went slack. Victoria's phone slipped from her fingers and shattered on the marble floor. And Dad, the man who'd spent 12 years on the board, just stared at me, speechless. I took the portfolio from my assistant, flipped it open, and handed it to him. 8 months ago, I bought this property through my company, Ward Hospitality Group. 14.6 million. Paid in full. Every renovation, every expansion, every glass of overpriced champagne you've sipped here, came from me. He stammered, You? You work retail? I did, I said softly. 7 years ago. Then I learned how to save failing businesses, rebuild them, and buy them. You taught me something, Dad, how to make people underestimate you. It's powerful leverage. The room buzzed. Phones were out. Whispers spreading like wildfire. He looked down at the papers, my name on every line. Elena, why didn't you tell us? When would I asked. Between the dinners where you pretended I didn't exist? Or the brunches where you mocked what I wore? I turned to the manager. Please pull up the Ward family's membership file. She tapped her tablet. Primary members since 1999. Annual dues, $45,000. Terms, immediate termination for conduct unbecoming. Dad's face drained of color. Elena, don't. You tried to have me escorted out of my own property, I said quietly. Tell me, what kind of conduct is that? Mom stepped forward, trembling. We made a mistake. No, I said. You made a pattern. For years, I let them define my worth. For years, I believed I had to earn their respect. But standing there, surrounded by the empire I'd built while they dismissed me, I realized I didn't need their approval. I already had my own power, effective immediately, I said. Your memberships are suspended for 30 days. Use that time to remember what respect looks like. Security escorted them out quietly. No shouting. No fight. Just the sound of expensive shoes echoing against marble. I stood there, not triumphant, just empty. Because revenge, when you finally taste it, isn't sweet. It's quiet. Heavy. It changes you. Later, in my car, I sat watching the sunlight spill over the parking lot. My hands shook. My phone buzzed with messages, apologies, excuses, threats. I didn't respond. Instead, I whispered to myself, this isn't about revenge. It's about recognition. They'll tell that story 100 different ways, but the truth is simple. The girl they thought didn't belong owned the floor they were standing on. If you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever been treated like you didn't belong, leave a fire emoji in the comments. Because sometimes, the best revenge is success they can't ignore.